welcome everyone to episode 3. And today we have two amazing people that will be joining us at our expo Saturday, March 16th, here at Roberta's house from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. First, I'd like to introduce Miss Savonne Ferguson. Miss Savonne Ferguson is the president of Harbor City chapter of Links Incorporated, which is, if you did not know, which is one of the nation's oldest and largest volunteer service organizations of extraordinary women who are committed to enriching, sustaining, and ensuring the culture and economic survival of African Americans and other persons of African ancestry.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. And also we have Dr. Bill. Dr. Bill is an assistant professor at the University of Maryland, Baltimore School of Nursing. He received his BSN from University of Texas Medical Branch in 2011 and his DNP from UNB in 2020. He is also an Army veteran specializing in primary care and addiction medicine. He currently provides primary care to urban patients at McCullough Homes through the Rich Collaborative Grant in Baltimore. And he's also a board certified in addiction medicine and currently pursuing his MS and hospice care for the University of Maryland. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for both taking time out of your busy schedules and joining us. You guys will both be at the expo. And again, we're highlighting the expo Saturday, March 16th here at Roberta's house.
Nice.
So we'd like to talk about, our main focus is Black Family Wellness. Mm-hmm. And so let's just start with a couple of questions. So, Dr. Bill, I'd like to pose one to you. So what would you consider are the main components? Let's just start with that. What are the main components to you of Black Family Wellness?
I mean, it's a complex question, but I'll say, obviously, well, physical health, mental health, emotional well-being, financial wellness is actually important. You know, if you're worrying about your money, sometimes your health gets a little funny.
Yes.
Educational support, cultural identity, community connections, getting everybody involved in it, parenting and family dynamics, also social justice and advocacy. I know we had this city dealt with the Freddie Gray situations. We have a lot of things dealing those kind of things, and also, but not least, especially among African Americans, spiritual wellness. So having that connection, whatever your particular background is, that kind of feeling of support and make you just one big holistic happy person.
All right. So not just heart, because you just highlighted a lot of things, even though we know you specialize in dealing with heart health and wellness, but you highlighted a lot of different things that make up that out.
All those parts of that whole will lead to, whether it's an emotional component that leads to an increase in different hormones that lead to an adverse effect on your cardiac health, but just the fact of stress as a whole. If you don't have a solid base, a sense of peace, things start to build up on you. You don't think that you're dealing with issues, but bit by bit, you have a tendency to slide towards a negative state of health, and especially for people who are living in an area where you're not getting the kind of support, perhaps that you're one of the more affluent areas. Mm-hmm. You're just not going to have it. So what you think is a small issue today can tumble into a larger issue down the road without all those components. I know there's a lot of things that I mentioned, but that's all just things that my patients deal with on a regular basis.
Oh, thank you for that. So if we don't deal with it on the smaller end, if we imagine like a lizard, if we don't deal with it as a lizard, we can't handle it as a dragon.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, thank you for that. All right, Miss Ferguson, I'd like to go to you. And again, Links is our generous sponsor for our expo here on March 16th. So in doing my research about Links Incorporated, it has a long history of community service and empowerment. And so can you provide an overview of some of the key programs and initiatives the organization is currently focusing on as we head into this expo?
I certainly can, and I'm so glad that Dr. Bill touched on all those different components that make up wellness, because that really is what we as Links, not only on our national level, but in our chapter, try to focus on making sure that we hit all those facets, so physical, financial, as well as spiritual. So we're really, really excited to be sponsoring this expo in conjunction with Roberta's House, as well as our other chapter, Baltimore City, Maryland chapter, will also be joining us with that. But from a national perspective, there are many, many different issues, if you will, that we are tackling when it comes to health and wellness, whether it be the heart. We're currently celebrating Heart Health Month, whether it be cancer. We've done various programs around breast cancer, prostate cancer, making sure that members of the African American community get out and do their appropriate screening for those things. We've been very, very instrumental with respect to national HIV initiatives. I know that's something that our chapter specifically has focused on over the past few years, as we received a grant from Gilead Sciences to do programming at our HBCU partner, Coppin State University, where we've been working with Coppin students to make sure that they get tested and that they understand the importance of knowing your status. National also has programs related to organ donation, making sure that in our community that we understand why it's so important to donate organs, tissues, bone marrow, and what have you.
Yes.
And then, of course, the things that we all always circle back on when we think about wellness, and that's mental health, and making sure that we understand how mental health affects us as a person and affects what we do in our communities, how we relate to others, and that we really, really do need to take that time to make sure that we are paying attention to our mental health and our wellness. And then lastly, one of the things that National also focuses on is oral hygiene and oral health. And so they have a partnership with Colgate to teach and to work with youth throughout the country in oral hygiene, and going across the country with the Colgate vans to provide dental assistance to youth in the community.
Wow, that's just a very rich, impactful thing that your organization is offering. And in an offline conversation, you said over 164 different chapters are collaborating, working together to be able to service our people.
Yeah, so the national organization is made up of 299 chapters, so that's a total of about 17,000 women across the United States, including chapters in the Bahamas and the UK. And so when National came up with this Black Family Wellness Expo initiative, the really initiative was to get as many chapters as possible across the country to come together and do an impact day of service where we're all doing something related to promoting health and wellness. And so last year was the first year of the initiative, and over 164 chapters participated across the country to do their own expos in their own communities. And so this year we're hoping to get more chapters involved. Our chapter, as well as Baltimore City and some other chapters here locally, participated together last year. And so this year, Baltimore chapter, as well as the Harbor City chapter, are coming together with Roberta's House and 20 more plus other community partners to put on the expo on March the 16th here at Roberta's House.
This is such an amazing opportunity for everyone, for education, be able to support resources. So, Dr. Bill, back to you. So when we talk about Black Family Wellness, we've identified the components for both of you.
Right.
Hey, what does this look like? So we know what the components are, but what are some of the challenges that you've come across in your practice that we're challenged when it comes down to maintaining overall wellness?
There's a new definition. It used to be say food desert. Now they're using the term food apartheid. It's referring to the effects of things like redlining, and they created zones where people don't have access to a lot of green groceries, healthy things like that. So my first thing would be unhealthy eating habits. But it's hard to have healthy eating habits when you don't have access to the proper amount of nutrition. Lack of physical activity. We live in a city. We don't have as much green space here to walk around as other places. Stress, again, because you're worried about your financials, things like that. But also things like just either a lack of knowledge. We don't know a lot of things because it's not necessarily something that's passed down to us from our predecessors. But the thing that I've noticed the most, and this may sound a little rough, financial constraints. And what I'm saying is I'll have patients who are on Medicare or Medicaid who may not have the same access to either testing or medication as somebody with a premium commercial insurance. The city doesn't have as much as, say, a different zip code with Randallstown or Timonium. You cross into Baltimore, we don't have that same kind of backup. So it's sometimes a situation where people won't, I mentioned it earlier, you don't find out until it's too late because nobody's following up on you. And we don't have a lot of, or the appropriate amount of providers that are culturally aware and able to put the message out to people that either have the same background or look like them. And sometimes people, if they don't feel you understand where they're coming from or familiar with their struggle, are not going to be as open, and you'll miss different signs that would, make things a little easier as far as identifying the problems that they're facing, the challenges that they're dealing with. I'm sorry, that was a long explanation.
No. We want the clarity. That's why we ask questions for clarity. And so, Ms. Savonne, same question for you. In your organization, when you're out here, because you guys are doing the work, so what have you noticed that as far as some of the challenges that people might have talked about?
Yeah, so I think what Dr. Bill hit on is very, very important, and that's what we've seen too. It's really financial disparities in resources as well as those cultural awarenesses. So that's why expos like ours are so important. One, because it provides a resource so that people in the community that might not have the financial wherewithal to get to where they need to get to can come to our expo and get seen and get talk to with professionals about different things, different health issues that they're experiencing. And I must plug that at this expo, we will be giving away Chromebooks. So Chromebooks to Baltimore City residents, you have to qualify, but we will be giving away Chromebooks to those that live in the city. So that's another way to help get people in our communities connected so that they can get the resources. So please come out for your Chromebooks. Like I said, you do have to qualify. You have to fill out a 15-minute survey, I think, and I think you have to meet certain income requirements, and you have to be a Baltimore City resident, and you have to have not received a Chromebook at any other event prior, which they'll be able to tell you that. But that is one of the ways that we're trying to get people connected to resources. And then I think to your point, as far as cultural awareness, being able to put people in our community in front of those in the healthcare field that look like them and that can identify signs early on for them so that they can start to work through some of their health issues or know what to look out for to prevent health issues. So I think those two things coming together are the reason why expos like ours are just so very important to our community.
So not only, just to recap, so not only are we getting a rich amount of resources, someone can get a Chromebook.
Yes, some people will get
exactly,
Chromebooks. Not just one person,
not just one.
Exactly,
because usually if I've gone to some expos, you might just get some peppermints or a pen. But you're saying we're getting Chromebooks.
You're getting Chromebooks. But in addition to that, remember, you're getting screening. So you're getting diabetes screening. Yeah. You're getting blood pressure screening. We're doing cholesterol screening. So you're getting all kinds of services that you might not be able to get to in different settings. And so that's what we really want to bring to our community, to make sure that we give you the opportunity to get these free screenings, to get these free tests so that we can prevent things from happening to you. And in addition, we're going to feed you. You're getting food. So you can't beat that.
You cannot beat that.
And it's going to be healthy food, but you can't beat that. So we hope that this will be an all-inclusive expo that really will give you just a well-rounded experience as far as understanding how to take care of yourself and make sure that you are healthy and exhibiting wellness. And the food, just to be clear, it's going to be vegetables and fruit. So all healthy foods.
Oh, sign me up.
All healthy foods for those that are attending. But yes, we hope that there will be a plethora of things that you can benefit from by attending this expo.
Well, I'll be able to get a Chromebook. I just want to just put it out there on, we're live right now, so I just want to...
You have to meet the credentials and take the survey and all the other things. So if you meet all those different credentials, then you will be eligible for a Chromebook. But those credentials are very, very important.
Thank you. But that's really, and as we looked at the different vendors and people that are going to be there, these are people that we need in our communities. All right, so Dr. Bill, again, we know you deal with heart health.
Right.
So, we're having the awareness, which is an amazing expo like this.
Sure.
All right. What advice would you have for someone, a family right now that is looking to improve heart health and just overall wellness?
Well, the first thing I would say is something that is not necessarily always possible. Meal prep and planning. If you can avoid eating stuff from the local store, say the lake trout every day, and you're making your own little meal, then that would be something that would be extremely helpful for you. But not everybody can afford that. So the key word that I tell patients, I told on West Coast, I tell them here, is moderation. If you're going to eat things that are not necessarily the best for you, then you can try to limit your amount. And the goal is to get to a point where you're actually zeroing out. But that's the main thing. You're trying to eat less of the things that affect you. Other things, as far as regular physical activity, which we touched on before, we're a lot of concrete. So it may just be you're walking a few extra blocks to a separate bus stop rather than one you usually go to. Something that's hard for kids and hard for us, and for professionals too, limit your screen time. It's linked also to like your sleep hygiene. So put that phone down, stop staring at that blue light before you go to bed, stop being, just getting into it, just give yourself time just to calm down, let your body just kind of relax, deep breathing, meditate, and just get it back to a calmer state of mind. Obviously, we're going to screen for different things, but for people that are up and running, your main thing is just slow it down a little bit and just kind of enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say, a simple answer.
All right, so limiting our screen time, which I feel like you were directly talking to me. So, some people may say, hey, Dr. Bill,
right,
I live near a fast food place. It's $1 to get the burger.
Of course.
I do want the food, but I may not have the money.
Okay.
You said just deal in moderation.
Okay, and then what I've seen here, what they're starting to do now, they did it in LA and they're starting to do it now, is I'm going to get a cheeseburger. And it sounds crazy. Well, you know what? Rather than give me the bun, put in the lettuce wrap.
Okay.
You still can get that burger. I tell my patients, I'm going to take what I can from you.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk you towards that goal. We're going to get there together, and it may be baby steps. So something as small as that, hey, I used to get a large fry. Okay, well, you get a small fry, maybe some apple slices. I want the soda. You know what? Let's try the tea. Okay, sweet tea. Now you're down to regular tea. Now you're down to just tea without sugar. I never want to tell somebody no.
Right.
I want you to work with me. So I'm going to say we're going to get there bit by bit by bit, because if you put a wall up for people, oftentimes they're not going to do anything at all. So my thing is to empower you and make you want to be better on your own. So
okay. And I love that you talked about empowerment, because that brings me back to you, as far as you talked a lot about the different things that Lynx is offering, right? Which is, when I did my research, I will say that I was just floored at how much Lynx has been impactful in our communities for a very long time. Actually, one of the nation's oldest. And so when we're talking about empowerment, when we're talking about support, health and wellness are critical aspects, clearly, because we know that you guys are offering a lot of support. How does Lynx address the health disparities? Because Dr. Bill talked about that we have food apartheid. We're past food deserts.
Right.
Now we're just into food apartheid. How does Lynx Incorporated address health disparities and promote healthy living among those underserved populations that can't get to the Colgates or the premium health cares that he talks about?
Well, I think it's along the same lines of what I mentioned earlier, and along what you addressed, is that really meeting people where they are.
Yes.
And so understanding where people are, and as our organization, part of our biggest mission is that we are educating and bringing understanding around these health issues to those in the underserved communities that can't get out and get to the various professionals that they need to get to. So again, it's expos like these that help do that work for us, to educate on so many different components of health. So that people have an outlet to get information. But then we do it through our chapters. Like I mentioned, we had 164 chapters that participated in this just one initiative of Lynx last year. But we have chapters that are focused on health and human services throughout the year, that are doing multiple things throughout the year. So it's not just this Expo Impact Day that we're talking about, but it really is 365 days of the year,
yes,
where chapters are constantly focusing on whatever the key initiatives are for their chapter, to make sure that they get the message out to those in our communities so that they are educated, but then also providing them whatever resources we possibly can to help them do the preventative screenings and taking the steps to make sure that they are putting their health in the right tracks, and that track is balanced and in moderation. So that's really how we as an organization are trying to help with and deal with health disparities within our communities.
Thank you for that. And so guess what? We talked about, we know we need to probably moderate, eat in moderation the cheeseburger. We know we can walk extra blocks. We know that we can get with supportive services like Links, whether it's the Harbor City one or Baltimore or any other surrounding ones. Anyone. So we talk about the physical health. We know we talked about heart health. We know we talked about these things. Let's talk about mental health for a second. So mental health is increasingly recognized an essential part of overall wellness. I think that if we can't mentally be there, then it just falls in line with poor health, physical health. What strategies do you both of you think that families can use to support each other's mental well-being? So, Doctor, we'll start with you first.
Open communication and active listening. You want to be present. If you're going to have the conversation with someone, you want to make them feel as though they can actually be open and honest and express themselves toward them. And with that, be present in your listening. Don't just, you're playing with your phone, you're doing other things. If you're going to have the conversation, then you actually make the person feel that you are there and you're caring about what they're talking about. You're creating more of a supportive environment that they feel more, that they're able to discuss any kind of issues they have. We have a tendency to traditionally think that mental health is not something that, especially for males, it's something we don't want to address. I'm a veteran. We have a tendency to have a lot of issues, especially for people such as myself, a combat veteran. Mm-hmm. It's having the ability to realize that it's not a weakness. It's actually strength to say, hey, I need help. And you as a family member can be there. You're seeing that person every day. So that person should be able to say, you know what, I'm having this problem at work. I'm having issues thinking about going through finance again, whatever the case is. And you're just putting that open face to them there. You can just say, look, I'm here for you, and I want to actually talk to you. I don't want to just talk at you. I don't want to gloss over the subject. I want you to tell me what's going on, and I want to try to make this better for you. I want you to help you be the best you can be. And however we have to do that, I'm going to be here for you to make this move with you. So that's kind of what I would say.
Okay. So open communication, listening, and then just like with Links, having those support services that may be able to, they can align with.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things around mental health is destigmatizing mental health.
Yes.
And I think the Links has done a yeoman's job of trying to bring that forth and bring that to light and what the different chapters have done across the country. I know that within our chapter, and as we work with our HBCU students, we have a Harbor City Link Scholars Program, so we work with undergraduate students. But one of our tenets in our program is to make sure that they understand that it's okay that you have stress or that you have issues that you need to work through, but you have to tell somebody, not keep that bottled up inside. It's all right if those issues are there, but bring them to light so that they can be talked about with professionals and so people can help you deal with that component of your life. So I think in that way, it's another facet of how Links is working in communities to make sure that people understand that there is no stigma associated with mental health issues and that it's okay to have these issues, but you need to go ahead and talk about them and get the right professional guidance and help to deal with those issues. Otherwise, it affects all other tenets of your well-being.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so family communication, we talked about that. We talked about mental health. We talked about physical health. We talked about resources, Links being able to connect people with resources. We talked about heart health. We talked about a lot of different things today.
We did.
Right? So as we wrap this up, because this is an amazing conversation that will not just be here, but they will see you at the expo.
Okay.
Right? Being there. Dr. Bill, you'll be there, right?
Be there.
All right. Ms. Savonne, you'll be there, right?
I will be there, yes.
Right? I'll be there.
Looking
for my Chromebooks or peppers or fruits and vegetables, right? So what resources that you may find it, hey, or maybe your favorite, what resources or tools would you suggest for families who want to prioritize their wellness, but they don't know where to start?
Okay, so I did pull up 3 different sites last night.
Okay.
One was healthline.com, 2 was everydayhealth.com and livestrong.com. But I think that, or I know that not everyone is as tech savvy as we'd like them to be. Mm-hmm. You do have access to different things. There's actually in Druid Hill, there's a Y. Mm-hmm. I grew up on the Y and the Boys and Girls Club. Mm-hmm. You have people there that can steer you towards different services and different, whether it's, cooking classes, fitness, all those type of things. and it can link you with different professionals that can get you started on the way. So if you're not some person that doesn't have a Chromebook yet, you can start that way. Once you get your Chromebook, you can try to use them of sorts. But that's the things I would do. You can find different tips online that will address a lot of the issues that you're facing. But there are also different little neighborhood organizations that will help you. But for me, my starting point is always in why. You touched on the fitness issue when we talked about heart health. I know that they always think that as African Americans, we don't have an affinity for the water, which I don't think is a true situation.
Right.
But something as simple as aquatic therapy does wonders for a lot of our seniors that have different bone issues,
Yes.
or that the actual stress of exercise would be too much of a load hemodynamically as far as dealing with the heart. So that's also a good thing. So that's just some of the things I would think that would help them.
Okay, and let's just go through those. So you said with the first website, can you give us that one more time?
Sure, it's Healthline, HEALTHLINE.com. The second one is livestrong.com, and then everydayhealth.com.
Okay.
So those three things.
And also visiting your local Y.
The Y is a panacea for a lot of things.
I go there every day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, even the one at Drew Hill. I like
Right,
that one. I
right.
like that
Yes,
one.
sir.
Yeah, okay. All right, Mr. Vaughn, what about you? Is there any resources or tools that just pop into your mind? Of course, we know Links is providing a lot of things.
There you go.
But
Come to our
anyone
expo.
That's it. Come
to our expo.
to the expo.
Come to the expo. But no, in all honesty, yes, come to the expo. There will be a plethora of resources. We have great partners. Like I said, Roberta's House, Harbor City, Maryland chapter, the Baltimore, Maryland chapter. But then we also have the American Heart Association. We have Gilchrist. We have Thread. We have Care First, Grace Mercy Medical Center. I hope I said that right. March of Dimes. We have various other Cheer Up Wellness organization, other organizations that are partnering that can give you a plethora of information where you can get so many more resources for how to navigate around your health and wellness. So please come join us on March the 16th, 11 to 3 p.m. And remember, if you're eligible, you can get Chromebooks.
Remember that. All right. So, and thank you for that, because this, again, we look for a lot of things and we say, hey, we need help.
Right.
We want opportunities. March 16th is an amazing opportunity. On behalf of Roberta's House, I'd like to thank both you, Dr. Bill, Ms. Savonne. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. That concludes our episode for today. You can check out each and every episode on YouTube. You can go to our social media links. You can check out not only our YouTube page, go to our page, check out different resources. We'll make sure we have links for Dr. Bill as well as the Link program. And until we see each other again, we always want to leave with our Roberta's House mantra, pledge here, I care for you, you care for me, and we care for each other. All right, till next time, everybody. Thank you.